Okay, I got another quickie project here to work on. So it's a brand new set of Scream Eagle 110 heads, it looks like. So I'm supposed to go in here and make them faster. We'll have to go in here and see what we gotta do to make these things run faster. So, looks like a pretty decent port to begin with. We'll see what it looks like once I get it apart, see what I can do to make it better. Looks like the exhaust port can be made a little bit bigger. You see this lip around here is open material. So, place to make it a little bit bigger. So we've got the compression releases in them already, it looks like. Right there. Alright, so let's get these apart and see what we got. Looks like they want to run a SNS 585 cam, I guess, what they're going to use on this one. Let's see what kind of a mess we can get into here. Alright, first thing I do is get them apart. Single groove keepers. Look like 10-degree locks. The old way of doing stuff these days. Dual spring with dampener. Another old way of doing things. Clearance feels about right. I don't know if you can see, but the movement of the valve. Just a little bit of jiggle in there. If you go real fast, you can pull the valve out without hurting the seal. So you can pull them out pretty easy. Excuse me. Still fighting my issues. It looks like they back cut them nicely. That's a plus. Most manufacturers don't do much back cutting. Yep, they get a little bit in there. That's a plus. One of the tricks I do. Sure feels awful dry for being a brand new assembly. It'd be nice to actually put some lubrication on the parts before they put them together. It's not a good sign. So, let's see, any idea who made these parts? Can't read a number. Ferrara made them. So that's why they're back cut. They're good valves. All right. Jeez. Wedge in a solder. Stem. Pushing really sideways for some reason on the collar. Like the same spring. Got decent pressure, I can tell by the spring compressor. A little bit tighter on the intake, just like you want to be. Could go real fast to get the pop out. There's almost no oil at all on the stem. There's more oil on the damn face here than on the stem. Definitely like to see more lubricant. Valve's cut real nice, got a nice back cut to it, just like the exhaust. Yeah, nice design, nice valves. Harley spent some money in the right spot for once. Ooh, nice big burr on the head already. When you drop your new head, you get nicks in it, see? Somebody dropped it right there. And not me. File from multiple angles so you don't take off any spots where you don't need it to come off of. Every hole's got a lot of burrs on it, you feel them. You like that hand detail touching it, making things flat. Okay, so feel a nice rough texture on the inside of the exhaust seat. Feel a burr when you pull up on it. What do they do that for? So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a sharp edge right here where they cut deeper on the inside than the outside edge. I don't know why they did that. Way of doing stuff new, I guess. Screwed up. The intake's got the same thing on it. You can see the real rough machining on the intake here. Hear it? They got that same lip right there they left in there. Sharp edge right on the inside of the exhaust. Right inside the seat. That's fine on exhaust because exhaust goes the opposite way. Ooh, that's sharp this way too. Oh, that is really sharp. Boy. Yep, there it is again. So they got the seat raised way up between the two cuts. That's weird. It's a weird way of doing a valve work. So all those sharp edges makes it hard for the airflow to work correctly. Jeez, I don't know what that's all about. It's kind of weird. They went to a lot of work to do it that way too. I don't know why. I don't like that. Now the actual port is pretty good. Feels real nice. Not much to do in the intake port. It's real nice. Nice and straight and true. Don't really see much I can do in that department. Exhaust. Same thing. It's nice and big. Short side's a little constipated right there. I'm trying to get my thumb through it. It's a little bit deeper than it needs to be, I think. Probably do a little trimming on that. Might pick up a little bit. Might hurt too, you never know. Yeah, ports are pretty good. I'm sure it's a little bit small on the exhaust, but find out. So, drop the valve at least once helps. Ooh, they're big valves. 623. Not 608 like S&S. Intake. Real big. 2080. That's pretty big. They don't need to be that big. You don't have a port behind it to back it up. Ah, that is sharp. So you got a valve that big and you're flowing through a port that's only that big. Not as much flow. 1750. 1760. 756, not 60. There's 60. I measured 60, but when I pull out, it drops 3. So you got a 1760 port, and you got 2080 on the other side. That's way too much of a difference. You could easily do that with a 1950 valve. Easily. You can do it with a 1900. You need to have more air to flow around it. I never agree with those running those big ass OD valves and you have small ports under. It doesn't make sense to me. Alright, let's see what they got in this direction. This is pretty big this way. Oh yeah. 910, 912, that's huge. It's even bigger underneath. And then you're flowing into a 750, which is way over here. 150,000 smaller. So how is this supposed to flow with that flowing? This is your restriction, the intake manifold. As always, when you get big valves and ports, the intake manifold and the spigot here is the restriction. That's where you gain your power. Cutting this stuff all out of here, it's already huge. It's already bigger than it really needs to be. This is where the problem is, not over here. So there's not much to be had on the intake port there, on that part of it. Okay, 623. So I need to be about 1480 on this side to be of any size. Let's see what they left. 410, pretty small. So the exhaust can be opened up a little bit. It's a little bit constipated. And the seat is smaller than the port is underneath it. So if you bore out the seat, you'll gain some flow. Seat's too small. So if you want to match that port, you have to go at least 20 thou bigger per side. That's 40 thou overall. That'll put you about 50. Like I said, about 80 is where I'd run to, 480. So that needs to be opened up a little bit bigger. So I don't know what he's got for an intake manifold or injector going, so I don't want to just go opening this up huge. But the power gain is going to be here is opening it up right through here. Like I said, you can go up to a 1/800. It's about as big as you can go with a stock intake style manifold. That'd be just the flanges here. That's not stock, that's just as big as you go with a stock mounting system. So, but you don't want to do that unless you can do it on the manifold. Opening this up bigger here, not doing anything in the manifold, you don't gain nothing. So I don't like how they did the seat too much. Definitely don't like the roughness. There's a little bit of an edge in here that needs to be blended just slightly. Not much to be gained overall, just a little bit. So on the next valve job, you'll pick up some flow when you cut the seat down a little bit. You're going to have to cut it down probably about 20 thou at least to gain anything. 20 thou there is going to drop your compression a little bit because you're dropping that big ass valve down. You're going to kill compression. So if I was to cut that right now, would I gain anything? Debatable. The loss of compression versus the airflow, it's a toss up. So I just wait till you do a valve job first time around. It's kind of weird how they got a big edge on that thing now. Alright, so I'm going to go in here and clean this up a little bit on the inside here. This exhaust port can be opened up a little bit. So I think I'll cut that in the machine. And the rest of it I just do it by hand, just kind of lightly clean things up, see what I think. So I really don't like the sharpness of the intake seat, but so like I said, I think it's about a neutral whether the cutting out is going to help any. Alright, so there you go. Screaming Eagle heads. As usual, ports are too stinking big. Valve's too big. And the intake manifold is too small. Typical Harley problem. Well, an exhaust is always too small. At least I always think it is. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take the other head apart. And then we're going to put it in the head machine and do some cutting. We'll be back. Okay, I got the heads all set up in the machine now. I'm going to set my cutter to 1/480, which is 150 thou smaller than the valve is, which is conservative. For a hot rod motor anyway. I could drop that another 15 more if I wanted to, pushing it. But I'm good at that number. Okay. After you set the cutter, you go measure it, make sure you didn't screw up. 1/480, close enough, 7/8. I can live with that. Okay, I'm going to go in there and we're going to cut that thing out right in there. Open up the exhaust. It's going to help the top end, it's going to hurt the low end. That intake port ain't got no low end anyway, so might as well open it up. Both the pilots are at the correct angles, so their CNC machining is pretty good. Better than most of the production heads. That's a plus. Okay, that is going to cut a lot out. Big time cut. Okay. Oops. So there's how much material we're cutting out. Quite a bit. We'll make that port a lot bigger. Oops, it's bigger. You trying to sneak a look?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Alright, so I'll blend the rest for the grinder. So you can see the difference in the sole size between here and this one. Oh, the finger almost goes in, see? Yeah, that finger does go in. Goes in tightly here. Goes right in there on this one, see? Alright, so now this is big like the intake. The seat we're going to leave alone, but we can bore it out. So you still got the inside radius still a little bit left in it. We didn't cut it all out. Well, we tried to. Do the other side. say? Who? Oh, this is Frank. I didn't know who it was. No, not yet. I'll send him another email tonight and see what's going on. I'll know in a day or so. Alright. Bye. Interruptions. Okay, that roughness is now out of there, and it's bigger. I don't know why they can't get the roughness out of their cutters. There ain't no damn way they want it to be in there. It makes it flow like crap when you do that. Guess they got some new crappy theory about turbulence inside of ports. Always could be that too, you know. But nobody else in the world does it that way, so yeah, Harley engineers know what they're doing. So, see, my finish is rough but smooth. Theirs is rough and shiny but real rough. Hear it? Versus mine. Don't have that in there. Okay, so I got both these out. I'm going to take this back and do some cutting on it. Now, I did go through the box of parts and found the injector right here. So, this is already fairly big. Let's see if it's 750 though. I didn't measure it yet. And of course it's not. It's 725. So the manifold is small as usual. So I got to go open this up a little bit. It's hard to judge how thin to make these before they break and fall off, but we're going to go bigger than this. Now without chucking this up in the milling machine and spending lots of hours trying to figure out how to hold this thing, we're just going to cut it by hand. Now the biggest problem on this manifold is when you look straight down the port, this goes down straight here, but right here in this corner, where my finger is here, it sticks out. You can see how they got this all hollow cut through here. So to fix this problem, you have to weld this whole corner in right here. That way you can cut this thing straight down and open it up. I don't know why they want this restriction right here. So this one is bad, but not super bad. This one over here, well, that was the other one. This one here was the other one. This direction, you can see how far it sticks out. See where my finger is? You look at it straight in, see the distance between here and here. That's how tall that is. Almost a 1/4 inch. Versus this side over here. You see the distance right there. It's a little bit less. So we're going to cut this out here a little bit. Let's kind of judge how thick this is through here. It's about the thickness of what that is. So we'll cut about half of that away. Knock this down a little bit. That's about all I can really gain for flow. We'll knock off a little bit of the casting crap. And we'll go ahead and try to make it a little bit bigger in diameter to match the head, which is 750. So not much I can do to these things without doing a bunch of welding and redoing stuff. These diameters have to be pretty much made, casted in, more or less. There's not a lot of material to go out and change all this stuff. The rest of it down in there looks fairly decent. So, I like moving these radiuses back, but unless you put a bunch of metal right through here where my finger is, you can't move this radius back. So me, I'd move this radius way back and make a nice long radius from here to here. So it'd look more like this instead of like the 90 degree it is now. You make it real long like this. But you have to weld this whole area all up and then remachine it. A lot of work. But if you want to go fast, that's what you would do. So, of course, the first thing you do is make this whole thing bigger. So probably buy a different one. But That's where the restriction is right there. Those heads over there, they're huge. This is your problem area. It's getting through the spigot. And it's the same problem on every Harley. Getting through the spigot is the restriction. That's what it all comes down to. Obviously, that is way bigger than that, so it doesn't matter how big you make this part. That's your problem. It still has to flow through this hole. Like I said, so these big ass ones they put over here, 62, 70 millimeter, doesn't do a damn thing because the restriction's right there. Alright, I'm going to clean up what I just did over there, and I'll go back to grinding, do some grinding.